This is the Computer Museum in Boston. There's no other place quite like it in the world. It's to computer buffs what the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown is to baseball fans. The whole history of computers is inside here. But today the Computer Museum is doing something special. They're putting on the first ever Computer Bowl to see who knows more about computers. The East against the West on this special edition of the Special Chronicles.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by
Raid Shadow Legends.
Chronicles, I'm Stuart Chaffee, and with me this week is Esther Dyson. Computer Bowl to see how much you guys really do know about computers here as your East Coast team takes on David Bunnell's West Coast team. The point of the Computer Bowl is really to raise money here. I was wondering how you think we're doing in this country at the high school level to teach our students about computers.
Well, I think this is a sign it's starting to happen. Computers are turning up in schools. Teachers are learning how to use them. Students are understanding they need them not just to study about computers, but to use computers. They're going to use them in college. They're going to use them in their jobs and maybe even at home. And things like this are helping, I think, to raise some of the enthusiasm that we need.
Esther, good luck to you. We're ready to start the Computer Bowl.
Welcome to the world's first Computer Bowl. My name is Chris Morgan. And you know, there's always been a friendly rivalry of sorts, sometimes not so friendly, between the computer people on the East Coast and the ones on the East Coast. But which group really has the sharpest computer expert in a high-tech showdown for the title of Computer Masters of the Universe? Now let's meet our panelists. They're some of the best-known people in the computer industry. For the West Coast, Adele, President and CEO of the Universe. Next, Casey Powell, President and CEO of Sequent Computers Incorporated, makers of multiprocessor mini-computers. Alan Michaels, Chairman and CEO of Ardent Computer Company, developers and manufacturers of graphics supercomputers. Our captain for the West Coast team is David Bunnell. Now, the East Coast team, beginning with Esther Dyson, software expert. Bill Poduska, Chairman and CEO of Stellar Computer, developers of graphics super workstations for engineers and scientists. And our team captain for the East Coast is Dick Schaefer, editor-publisher of the Technologic Computer Letter and former technology columnist for the Wall Street Journal. So a big welcome for all of them.
You ready, Chris?
I'm ready, Will.
For 10 points, was it called Computerland, the Itty Bitty Computer Company, or the Computer Store?
West Coast, Bunnell.
The Computer Store.
Yes.
Okay, that's 10-0 for the West Side.
10-point question. Who wrote the first book?
West Coast, Joy.
Oh, Ted Hoff.
This is a 10-point question. How long would it take to send the Encyclopedia Britannica over a 2 gigabit fiber optic cable?
2 seconds.
All right, this is a toss-up question. For 10 points, the letters in most software languages form acronyms.
This computer technology needs work here.
John Backus.
Why can't we hear the West Coast cheer when we get these right? When the East Coast gets one right, we hear the East Coast cheer.
Fortran. The answer is Fortran.
Fortran is correct.
Oh, Lisp. Yes. Pascal.
What high-tech company determined whether the 18.5-minute gap in the Nixon tape was deliberate?
East Coast, Kapor.
Google.
Fast response, and now the score is the West team 55 points and the East Coast 30 points. Close, folks, it's close.
All right, this is a toss-up question. Who won Scientific American's Game of Life contest by creating the first glider gun? Okay, we're in the bonus round. We're in the bonus round, and you can consult.
At $1,000 a day.
Here's a four-part question, four questions actually, about computers in the movies. First, in what Disney movie do the main characters live inside a computer?
Tron.
Yes.
What was the name of the robot in the film The Day the Earth Stood Still?
The correct answer was?
Gort. What was the first name of the inventor of Boolean algebra?
George.
Yes.
Okay, it's the East Coast 60, the West Coast 55.
Dartmouth College is famous for many computer firsts.
Let him guess.
Shall I complete?
West
Shall I
Coast Joy.
Basic.
Sorry, minus 10 points. I'm sorry, you interrupted us and you were incorrect, so we'll have to,
we pose the question of the East?
yes, after we deduct 10 points from the West Coast score. Okay, we'll stop. We'll stop just for a second now to tell you that the score is the East Coast 70, the West Coast 45. We're using polling logic here to get the right answers.
For 10 points. The word...
Can we have
Now-
a timeout?
The score is the East Coast 90, the West Coast 45.
Here at the Computer Bowl, we're ready to start round 2 of this battle of computer wits, and right now the East Coast team is ahead. Let's go back to our examiner, Will Hurst, and our MC, Chris Morgan.
All right, let's go on now to round 2. Will?
Was it the Apple II, the
East Coast, Kapor.
Apple II.
I'm sorry, we'll have to deduct 10 points from the East Coast score and repeat the entire question for the West Coast. West
Commodore
Coast,
VIC
Benell.
20.
Commodore VIC 20?
That's correct.
That was only 10 points?
The Pizza Time restaurant chain was started by Atari founder Nolan Bushnell.
West Coast, Powell. Your answer, please. Well, give it a try, Casey.
I
What the
don't
heck?
get to confer on this one, huh? Chuck E. Cheese.
Good guess. I have a portable gadget here to show you as part of this question.
The Ace, or the...
West Coast, Joy.
The Enigma.
This is not portable. It weighs about 70 pounds. Let me just tuck it under here, and we'll continue. Okay, it's close. It's the East Coast 100, the West Coast 95.
Which of the following did Bill Gates not do?
East Coast, Kapor.
Have a 1,000-person 25th birthday party?
Correct. West Coast, Powell.
1 foot.
We have a
Theoretically,
slightly
or 3/4
different.
of a foot through physical medium.
We have a slightly different answer. Did you say 3/4 of a foot?
3/4 of a foot through physical medium, 1 foot theoretical.
All right, averaging those two answers. We'll talk to the judges, and the judge says, yes, we'll give it to you.
Is caduceus a high-level language, a data general computer, or a medical diagnosis?
East Coast, K4.
Medical expert system.
What book about computers won
The Universe. East Coast, Hathaway.
Soul of the New Machine.
Donald Knuth.
May we have your answer, please?
Knight and Bridgewater.
The score is the East Coast 170 and the West Coast 105.
That's okay.
All right, let's move along.
East Coast, Podeska.
An inverter converts DC to AC.
Telephone call in the lobby for Mitch Capor.
That's the end of the round, and the score is East Coast 190, West Coast 115.
That's the first half of the Computer Bowl, and at halftime, the East Coast has the lead. We'll have the final rounds of the Computer Bowl. Be sure to join us right here next week on the Computer Chronicles. In the random access file this week, Compaq has finally introduced its long-awaited laptop computer. The machine is called the SLTTTTT, features the 8286 chip, running at 8 or 12 megahertz. It has a detachable keyboard. It weighs in at 14 pounds and runs on a nickel-cadmium battery pack with an estimated 3 hours of use per charge. The screen is a Super Twist LCD with a high resolution of 640 by 480 with 8 shades of gray. The Compaq SLT286 comes with one 3.5-inch floppy and a 20 or 40 megabyte hard drive. Compaq said it did not plan to bring out a 386 laptop until it could solve the problem of battery power. Existing 386 laptops only get about 1 hour of use per battery charge. The reviews are slowly coming in on Steve Jobs' next computer, and they are mixed. In general, praise for a nice packaging of existing hardware technology, an excellent user interface for Unix, but concerns about the small potential market and whether or not there will be enough software support. Another concern was the lack of a traditional disk drive, forcing developers to offer software on an expensive optical disk or via the Ethernet port. However, the next deal with IBM for use of the Next Step interface on IBM's Unix machines may motivate programmers to write for the next computer. The big question for most observers was, will the next be another Macintosh or another Lisa? The Nixdorf Computer Company says it has developed a new computerized voting machine that represents the first new technology in voting machines since the machine was invented 100 years ago by Thomas Edison. The Nixdorf voting machine is a touch-screen terminal much like your bank's ATM machine. There are no punched cards, no printed ballots, and the voting machine can easily display information in any language. The Nixdorf voting machine also features pictures of the candidates on the CRT and the ability to easily enter write-in candidates.
For a transcript of this week's Computer Chronicles, send $4 to PTV Publications, Post Office Box 701, Kent, Ohio 44240. Please indicate program date.